My name is Jake, and I never believed in ghost stories or urban legends. That summer weekend in the state park still haunts me. I went camping with a group of close friends to escape the chaos of city life. We had eagerly awaited this trip, expecting peaceful days and quiet nights under the stars. However, what we discovered turned our getaway into a disturbing mystery. We set up camp deep in the park, surrounded by tall pines and a quiet lake that mirrored the sky. On the first night, all was calm. A gentle crackle from the campfire and distant owl hoots accompanied our laughter and shared stories. Our circle of friends felt safe, with nothing to fear. But on the second night, as the air grew chill and the fire burned low, a few of us decided to gather additional firewood. I joined them, leaving behind the comforting glow of the fire. Our flashlights sliced through the dark, guiding us along the narrow path. The forest was eerily silent, the only sounds our hushed whispers and the snap of twigs beneath our feet. We walked quietly until one of my friends, Tyler, halted at some dense bushes. He pointed out a glimmer of fabric peeking from behind the greenery. We all froze, curiosity mingling with caution. As we edged closer, hidden from the main trail, we found an old, tattered tent. Its faded, torn fabric looked as if it had been abandoned for many years. My heart thumped loudly, filled with a mix of excitement and dread. Tyler gently pushed the flap open, and we huddled near the entrance. Inside, the tent was bare, yet scattered items betrayed its past use. A small, worn child's truck lay half-buried in leaves, along with pieces of torn clothing. In a dark corner, we discovered a battered notebook. That notebook changed everything. I carefully flipped through the pages. Frantic scribbles filled the diary, telling the story of a local girl who had vanished without a trace over a year ago. The notes, raw and trembling, mentioned her last sighting near these very woods and hinted at a shadowy figure that might have been responsible. A sense of tension and foreboding gripped us as we absorbed its contents. The thrill of exploration quickly faded into a cold dread. We gathered all the items we could and hastily returned to camp, our minds churning with unanswered questions. The once familiar forest now felt as if unseen eyes watched our every move, every shadow a possible threat. Back at the campsite, we told the others about our eerie find. As someone read aloud from the notebook, every word sent shivers down our spines. We unanimously agreed that this unsettling discovery had to be reported to the park rangers. None of us wanted such dark secrets to remain hidden or to fall into the wrong hands. The following morning, we explained our discovery to the rangers. They promised a search and investigation, though no further clues were ever found. The mysterious tent, the scattered belongings, and that heart-wrenching diary remained unsolved. I spent the rest of that trip with an ever-present feeling of unease. Every rustle of leaves and snap of a branch echoed in my mind like a warning. As we packed up and left the park, the memory of that hidden tent and its grim contents lingered. Even years later, the recollection of that night reminds me that some secrets in the wilderness are best left undisturbed. That camping trip taught me that sometimes curiosity can open doors we are not ready to close. My name is Alex, and I never thought a simple fall getaway would leave me with memories that still haunt me. A few years ago, a small group of close friends and I planned an excursion into a forest renowned for its beautiful yet eerie autumn landscapes. The forest was alive with bold reds and oranges, and the ground was scattered with crisp, fallen leaves. We found a clearing, once prepared by previous visitors, that seemed perfect for pitching our tents. At first, everything felt normal, a perfect blend of nature's beauty and the carefree spirit of adventure. That first night passed with gentle laughter around the campfire and easy conversation under a starlit sky. We roasted marshmallows, shared old stories, and listened to the soft whispers of the trees. But as the night deepened, an unsettling feeling began to creep in. I couldn't tell if it was the chill in the air or the way the shadows shifted among the trees. But something did not feel right. The following morning, while we were packing up some gear near our tents, our friend Ben discovered something odd on a nearby rock. Lying as if casually abandoned was an old, battered cell phone. It was smeared with dirt, yet still powered on. Curiosity overcame us, and we gathered around to inspect it. The phone was unlocked, and its screen displayed several unsent messages. Most of these texts referenced nighttime disturbances, strange sounds outside the tents, and warnings about a hidden watcher lurking in the shadows. I stared at the screen, my heart pounding as I noted the odd timestamps, messages sent deep in the night when everyone should have been asleep. Throughout that day, our unease grew. We couldn't shake the feeling that someone or something was watching us. The forest, with its eerie silence and rustling leaves, felt as if it held a dark secret. We continued our hike along a narrow trail, yet every crunch of leaves reminded me of the unanswered texts on that cell phone. I wondered if we should return the device to the park rangers, but uncertainty held us back. That night, as we set up our tents in the same clearing, an oppressive silence settled over our camp. Not long after dark, while one friend made a phone call to a family member, we began to hear muffled voices and soft shuffling sounds coming from the surrounding trees. The voices were low and indistinct, carrying an unsettling tone that sent chills down my spine. We listened intently as the sounds blended with the natural noises, creating a disturbing chorus of whispers in the dark. At dawn, we packed our gear in haste and left the campsite in a rush. We left the cell phone on that same rock, unwilling to carry its mysterious burden any further. Even now, whenever I close my eyes, I can still see those flickering messages and hear the soft shuffling in the dark. I remain uncertain about what caused that broken, anxious silence that night, but the memory endures like a persistent shadow. It reminds me that some secrets in the wilderness are best left undisturbed, and that even the most ordinary adventures can hide a deeper, darker mystery. That chilling experience echoes inside me, a reminder of nature's hidden secrets. My name is Sarah, and I don't usually like to dwell on experiences that send shivers down my spine, but I must share the events of a long weekend, camping near a remote hiking trail, a memory that still haunts me. My husband, Mark, and I needed an escape from our hectic lives, so we chose a quiet state park known for its scenic overlooks and gentle trails. The area was calm, with well-worn paths and a clear lake reflecting the soft light of early morning. We believed it would be the perfect retreat until we encountered something that changed everything. On the second morning, we set out to explore one of the less-traveled paths. The air was cool, and the lively chirps of birds mixed with the steady crunch of our boots on the leaf-strewn ground. A thin mist clung to the earth as we wandered among clusters of towering trees. Mark, always attentive to the smallest details, suddenly pointed out something unusual wedged in a crevice of a large, mossy boulder near the trail. There, half hidden by dirt and fallen leaves, lay a small, worn leather diary with a water-damaged cover and yellowed pages. Intrigued yet apprehensive, we gently removed it and settled on a nearby rock to examine our unexpected discovery. The diary was filled with messy, hurried handwriting that betrayed a deep, pervasive fear. The entries recounted the terrifying experience of someone who felt constantly watched. One page described slow, deliberate tapping on a tent's fabric and incessant scratching that echoed throughout the night. As I carefully flipped through the pages, the writer's notes grew more frantic and desperate, detailing an unknown presence stalking every move. The diary ended abruptly with a final, hurried scrawl, claiming that the writer had witnessed a figure rummaging through their gear. We exchanged uneasy glances as the crisp morning light suddenly felt cold and unwelcoming. That night, after returning to camp and stowing our day's hiking gear, Mark and I could not shake the oppressive unease that had settled over us. We decided to reposition our tent a short distance away from our gear, hoping to create a small haven of security. As dusk turned to darkness, the forest around us transformed into a world of looming shadows and strange sounds. I lay awake in our tent, listening to the usual forest chorus, a distant owl's hoot and the rustle of leaves. Yet there was another sound that sent a chill down my spine. I distinctly heard slow, rhythmic tapping against the tent's fabric. My heart pounded as I nudged Mark awake, and together we strained our ears in that heavy silence. Soon we detected faint, insistent scratching, like a hesitant whisper that gradually grew more pronounced. We sat frozen, barely daring to breathe, as dark shapes occasionally flickered past the thin walls of our tent. Minutes stretched into what felt like an eternity until, as suddenly as it began, the noises ceased, leaving a silence so profound it was as if the forest itself held its breath. The next morning, the first rays of sunlight did little to erase our lingering dread. We packed up our gear in a sullen silence, the mysterious diary still clenched tightly in Mark's hand. Unsure of what we had truly encountered, we agreed that the right thing was to report our discovery to the park rangers. Later that day, a ranger took the diary from us, carefully flipping through its pages. He confirmed that it dated back several years and mentioned whispered rumors about strange disturbances along that trail, though no one had ever reported events like ours. I still relive that night in quiet moments. Every soft knock on our tent and every rustle in the dark feels all too real. For me, that weekend is a constant reminder that some secrets in the wilderness are best left undisturbed, and I hope no one ever has to face the creeping dread we experienced.